Welcome to AirHeads. Coming up, a world exclusive. Phill Price unveils the energy transfer meter, the ETM. You'll never look at a strawberry jelly in the same way again. Roger has the next instalment of the ABC of HFT. This week he's fiddling with his hamster. We have hot air, we have Airstreaming. First, Roy offers Darren a large camo erection in his back garden to keep him warm and on target.
Have you got badgers? And they're coming in along here, feeding out here. We've got another feeder just there, so they're coming out there. So that's sort of one zone we'll be able to get.
Last time we saw just how bad Roy's rat problem was. We know they're not daft beasts, and the ones that are lacking in the grey cell department Roy has taken care of. This job will require the skills of Sir Stealth-a-Lot, and Darren was happy to step in with his FX Bobcat, March Scope and Night Sight Eagle on top. But first he needs to assess the situation and take the edge off his FAC.
That's one good thing with the FX, which is why I wanted to come around while it's daylight, because we're on rats. I'm just going to wind it down, 12 foot-pound, take it back to a normal rifle. It's as simple as that, just turn the wheel, or I can even go down to 6 on this one. So that's now set at 6 foot-pound. So I'll just check my zero, especially in here, what are we talking, 15 yards tops?
Yep.
You know, so 12 foot-pound is going to be more than perfect for what we're going to be doing tonight. But this is going to be ideal place to, it's just here, isn't it? Sorry? Just from here.
Darren finds a good spot, but Roy says it needs more, a lot more. Now, some might say that a large erection suddenly popping up might faze the rats. Roy says no.
It's camouflaged, of course they won't notice it.
Darren settles down with thermal plus the night vision to give us the best possible chance.
I've got the eagle on because I got all the way down to Roy's and realised I'd forgotten any infrared illumination for David to film with. So I've got both, but I think rather than messing around, we just stick the eagle on. And everybody knows we will be able to film with a broadcast camera, and I will be able to see what's going on. And all should be good in the world. Let's just hope there's plenty of rats.
It's not long before we start seeing the culprits.
Well, we've got 3 rats out already, David. That was a monster of a rat.
The image is clear through the March scope. The night vision also shows off the illuminated reticle. The rats are not exactly in plague proportions, but we do get a couple of satisfying shots. Darren has only recently started using a heads-up night vision unit, but in this situation it's very comfortable.
And I've got to say, I'm very impressed with this heads-up style of shooting, which is something that I said I would never get used to. But in a situation like this, the way David and I are sat, a nice comfy chair, I've got my shooting sticks in front of me, and I can just, obviously with an empty rifle this is, just gently scanning left and right. Because David's running the main camera and he's also spotting with the thermal for me as well to make life easier. But it's actually quite relaxing, just sat here waiting for these rats to come out.
All it needs now is some food. And there, just like the shopkeeper in Mr. Ben, Roy turns up to tell us it's time to come home and celebrate with kebab, of course.
Yeah, kebab time, boys.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Darren. And what a relief. No relief for you, the viewer, though. It's David with hot air.
This is Hot Air. Ted Beyer, known to the world as Ted's Holdover, has closed his airgun forum, but opened another. He says he isn't cut out to run the Holdover forum, however is being replaced by the Airgun Nation, run by Michael Vent. Visit airgunnation.com. You can win a air rifle by helping a marathon runner. Keen airgun shooter Vicky Morris is braving the 2015 London Marathon in aid of the Anthony Nolan Trust. Daystate is giving away a Huntsman Regal in a draw for everyone who donates money to Vicky's sponsorship fund. Visit bit.ly/Vicky Marathon. A group of children who found an airgun and stuck it out of a window sparked a full-scale police lockdown on a quiet street in Hartlepool. Cleveland police deployed 7 vehicles and armed officers after a neighbour saw the gun being pointed out of the window. One of the boys' mothers said that the children came across the unloaded airgun, which the family had last used about 3 years ago on a camping trip to play games of shooting bottle off the wall. She added there's no way that the boys knew what the consequences of their actions would be. They all feel terribly ashamed and are traumatised by what happened. There's a big airgun presence at the American NRA meeting in Nashville, Tennessee this weekend. Gamma will be showcasing its Coyote PCP and Mach 1 Pigman Edition air rifles. Pigman, shown here, is a TV host sponsored by Gamma.
Come on, piggy, piggy, piggy. I got you a little surprise.
And finally, this is just nuts. A taxidermist from the USA has come up with a new take on squirrel life. Tita's Taxidermy Studio in Halifax, Pennsylvania dresses its stuffed squirrels as Star Wars characters and Thor. They have the animals playing pool, getting to grips with a sniper rifle and even passed out drunk. They sell for up to £400 each on eBay. You are now up to date with Hot Air, aiming for accuracy, targeting the truth.
From a news guru to a sultan of swing, Phill Price unveils the pendulum of power.
Well, I'm always trying to understand more about the way pellets work from a hunting point of view. Now, we have lots and lots of ways of telling us how much energy the pellet will arrive downrange with. But what concerns me more is how much energy it can impart into our quarry. So, this is my energy transfer meter, not a swingometer, as David keeps insisting. In here is gelatin. The pellet arrives, goes into the gelatin, passes through, and flies on with however much energy it's got retaining and moves the pendulum. In here there's two one-way bearings, and then this marker shows us on the scale just how much energy has been imparted. Now, this isn't science, this is purely comparative. Don't please tell me that there's some law of physics I'm ignoring or something. It's just a comparison. So you can choose a 177 round head through it, and then a 22 round head through it, and it will tell you how much more energy relatively the 22 has imparted. From there you can go on to pointed pellets, hollow points, heavier, lighter, whatever you like, 25, 20, 9mm if you've got one, but it's just a comparison. It will fire a load of different things through there and you can see how it works. What I've got here is my BSA R10 Mark II, which is a 12 foot-pound gun in 2.2, shooting the 16 grain Air Arms Field, which is one of my particular favourite pellets, and this gun likes them a lot. It's very, very accurate with them. So we'll give it a shot, see what it does on the ETM. So there we go, that was a 12 foot-pound Air Arms Field in 2.2. As you can see, that hit pretty hard. You can also see, if you look at the back of the pot here, it's flown right through. So somewhere down in that field is our pellet. So people who say, oh yeah, pellet just arrives and stops, sorry, you're wrong. That's 50mm depth of gelatin, which is as near to human flesh or animal flesh as you can get. And that's got us to 43 points on the scale there. So that tells you it's hitting hard, it's transferring lots of energy, and that's why a lot of people like to shoot 2.2s at rabbits. So that shot we just took then was a 177, again 12 foot-pound gun with the Air Arms 8.44 grain Phill pellet, which is an excellent pellet. But if you see by comparison, this is 25 units on here, whereas the 2.2 was somewhere up around here 43. So it's very clear to me that the 2.2 does transfer a great deal more energy. Both pellets have exited straight through the gelatin, somewhere down the other end of the yard. But that's about as clear a demonstration as I can offer you as to the amount of energy the bigger pellet transfers to the quarry. And if that's your rabbit's head, for example, it clearly will do more damage. More damage equals a cleaner kill. So what I've just fired now is an H&N Terminator, which is a lightweight hollow point in 177. Now the round nose only took us to about 25 units. This has taken us right round to 36. And I'm fairly confident that pellet has stopped inside the jelly. So that's dumped all its energy which clearly is more efficient than whistling off downrange, carrying energy with it. Good pellet, and it's probably the most accurate hollow point I've ever used. So this was the RWS Super Point, which is quite an old-fashioned pointed design. The Super Point went straight through. You can see the top of this is split open here, whereas the hollow point dumped all its energy inside the gelatin. So if that was a pigeon, for example, it would have really hit it hard, whereas the pointed pellet has flown right through like the round nose did. So doing this kind of research, I'm always hoping to find something new, and this one has really surprised me. This is a relatively new pellet from H&N called the Red Scorpion. So this is 177, but it's a very unusual design of a lead hollow point but with a plastic tip in the end of it. It looks a bit like Thunderbird 1. This has moved 43 units, so this has hit as hard as our heavyweight 2.2 pellet we shot earlier. What was also interesting is everyone was at the same depth and everyone was facing backwards. They were completely reversed inside there, and I can only assume that the tiny weeny lightweight tip gets overtaken by the heavy lead as it's travelling through. So is it a tumbling pellet? Could well be. You can see, however, it has not expanded and the tip is still in there. I believe the tip is designed to separate to make it into a hollow point. Well, it's not done that at all. That's all still in one piece. Very interesting. Very good energy transfer as promised. Unfortunately, not as accurate as I would demand from a hunting pellet, but always interesting to learn these things, always interesting to see something new. And got the good old ETM out for a blow the dust off.
Who would have thought that strawberry jelly is the best flavour to use? Now, we took this photograph of Phill fiddling with his ETM, which we think is worthy of some creative captioning. We've stuck it on the Airheads Facebook page. Do your worst, but keep it clean. Next up, the ABC of HFT. Last time Roger Late showed us gun setup. This time he's adjusting his scope and his stock.
Gun is clean, right, so we're ready to go. Your mounts, that's the next thing. I do like sports match mounts. I've used them for a while now and they really do work. For air gunning and bullet gunning, always go to sports match. These are the BSA mounts because the mounts on top of BSA, or the rail is slightly different. Single mount works very well for a Springer shooter, but for PCP, because there's so little recoil, you don't really need a single mount stroke damper mount. We don't really need that. You can have it, of course, but the problem is with a single mount, for instance, on this gun, as you can see, it's a single loading tray. If the mount's across there, you can't get the pellet in very well. And I have tried that, and it's really awkward. Right, so they're on, snuggish. Is it time to put the scope on? Not yet. Calm yourself. Let's take these bad boys off to start with. And the bit that I like the best is when you put the scope in and you level it up, because all my friends say that my levels are completely wrong. I disagree. It works for me. Take that up. Let's have a little look to see if we're in the right-ish position. Yeah, I'd say we're about right there. So do them up a little bit, just enough to keep it from falling off, but not tight, because we're going to have to move the scope around a bit, forwards and backwards, and obviously to make sure we eliminate any cant. Yeah, that looks all right actually, doesn't look too bad. Let's just shoulder it again. Now, my eye is a little bit low, so what I need to do really is snug that up a tiny bit more, and then we'll go to the cheek piece to make sure the cheek piece is at the right height, so my eye's not down here or up there. It needs to be there. So that needs to come up a little bit. Let's do that. I still feel my face is a little bit close to it. So what do I do now? Adjustable butt pad. So look at that. See, it's the adjustability of the gun's really nice, because you can really make it your own. You really can, as opposed to it just putting a scope on it, and that's what you're left with. This, you can move around, you can do this, you can do that. Really make it, you can really personalise it. The only thing is with that, when people say, can I have a go at your gun, please? Oh, I don't like that very much. Well, it's not set up for you, is it? You know, it's like someone gets in your car seat. You go, well, no, I can't drive like this. So, but that's the way I drive. Yeah, that's what I like. And it's very important to have what you want. So you've got to set it up to how you like it. As you can see, I've extended that a little bit. Turn that around a tiny bit. Yeah, that's nice. That's lovely. Right, the next thing that I do, you don't have to do this of course, is the hamster. See, I prefer, for my standing shots, this hamster really lends itself nicely if you spin it around. So that's what I'm going to do next. I have absolutely no idea why it's called a hamster in any way, shape or form. I only wish I did. So many people say, why is it called a hamster? I don't know. Now, the reason that I do this and have it round that way, for standing shots, most people, some people like their hand like this or like that, and they do hunter style. I don't. I shoot like that, and as you can see, with that little lip there, perfect, absolutely perfect. So I've got the length of pull there, done, lovely. Hamster, perfect, very happy with that. Next, it's the scope. Let's get this bad boy working. See if it works for you.
Great stuff, Roger. And if anyone knows why it's called the hamster, please let us know. Next up, the wider world of air gunning. On YouTube it is Airstreaming. Charlie Jacoby here. This is my fortnightly roundup of the best air gunning on YouTube. We have featured clan gun bushcraft before. Viewer Drew Wallace gets in touch to recommend its grey squirrel hunt in Scotland. Squirrel Hunter is also a fan of clan gun bushcraft, and here is his latest: pest control with air rifle scope cam squirrel shooting. A bit of old footage. Bro is on a solo mission to a small wood. Staying on squirrels and from the USA, here is the 2014 Squirrel Master Classic mashup featuring stars from TV shows such as Buckmasters, Shawn Michaels' MRA Hunting, Bone Collector and Addicted to the Outdoors with John and Gina. The PCP Hunter provides a crow and magpie outing set, perhaps appropriately depending on what you believe happens to the souls of wildlife, if indeed they have them. 2 Archangels, 2 Steps from Hell. If you want a whole hour of airgun entertainment centred on the Weihrauch HW100, then this is surely the video for you. It includes lots of rabbit shooting. Now the big stuff: airgun deer hunting with the Benjamin Bulldog 357 has the big bore airgun out in Alabama. Filmed at a gun show in the USA, world's most powerful production air rifle shows the Air Force Airguns Texan in .45 caliber, which fires pellets at more than 1,000 feet per second according to the manufacturer. And finally, here is an unusual airgun review. It is the J. Kahn Crozer Noblesse in .25 caliber, supplied by American shop RL Airgun Supply and Wild West Airguns. Click on the links to watch the videos, or you will find them in this film's description. If you would like to send in a video for Airstreaming, ping me the link, Charlie at Fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, we are back in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching. This has been AirHeads.